Odyssey. Odyssey racing the part of me. Sim racing my daughter V. Start to finish, give all to me. Odyssey racing the Odyssey. Odyssey racing the part of me. Sim racing my daughter V. Start to finish, give all to me. Odyssey ORL. 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 VSR all day, VSR my way. Real ones only get it. Say less, we straight. 59, never back down. If you didn't know, just ask around. Pull the draft on the front stretch. Turn one, they tap it down. Force the gap with no contact. Feel the adrenaline off that. Under pressure from front to back. Another cup, warning, keep it on track. You wanted more, I'm calling cap. Elbows up, come get it back. 50 drivers in the server. Hope you're ready for combat. Odyssey racing the Odyssey. Odyssey racing the part of me. Sim racing my daughter V. Start to finish, give all to me. Odyssey racing the Odyssey. Odyssey racing the part of me. Sim racing my daughter V. Start to finish, give all to me. Odyssey ORL. Odyssey.
Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thank you so much for joining me, Christian Julian. I also go by Koju here, and on behalf of Odyssey Racing League, again, welcome to GT America's Season 19, Round 6. It's the final round of GT America's multi-class sprint race. It's GT3, GT4 Motorsports Action Round 6. We are at the Nürburgring, but some quick housekeeping before we continue on. Just to look at the standings throughout all the past 5 rounds. We're looking at the standings going into the 6th round. So Phil Cryotheos is leading the pros, 174 points total, with Andrew Rados right behind him at 164 points. For the AMs or the silver plates, we do have Kyle White with 176 points in the lead. Agüero Martinez sitting P2 with 162 points total. Both drivers with 2 wins under their belts, by the way. For the rookies, Alex Donaldson is in the lead, 170 points, with Ryan Chanley not too far off. That's 160 points for Ryan Chanley, so only 10 points of a difference. So the winner of tonight's race between those two will, I believe, take the championship. And if we move over to the GT4s, Leila Martinez in a commanding lead, 188 points total for the American driver, as well as the most championship, or the total championship point leader as well, 188 points. That's the most out of everybody here in the championship. 2 wins as well under their belt. Leila Martinez, the last 2 races were a win for the number 924. Could this last race possibly be a hat trick? I hope we'll find out very, very soon. But enough about that. Let's get into qualifying. As well, we are on board with the leading GT4 driver of the championship, Leila Martinez, the number 924 Kraft dinner or mac and cheese, depending on where you are in the world, is what you call it. However, right now in provisional pole is Alex Cruz. That's the number 121 BMW GT4, 2 minutes 3 seconds. 0.827 for Alex Cruz, 0.852 for Leila Martinez. Alex is down on the delta, however Leila is up, so this may be crossing the finish line. Will this change Leila Martinez's place? It does not, however. This does allow Leila one final lap to complete their qualifying run here at the Nürburgring GP circuit. Now this circuit may look familiar to some of you, and it may look a little different to some others. However, this is the Nürburgring GP circuit. I believe it is part of the GP Streak. I'm very terrible at mispronouncing, or I'm terrible at pronouncing German, so I do apologize if I do say anything incorrectly. But this is also part of the 24-hour circuit layout. This is basically the GP circuit layout. Very fast pace, a lot harder than it looks. You have to carry a lot of speed throughout these corners, even though they look very, very slow speed. You do have to carry More than what you think. Gotta ride curbs a lot. As we see Leila Martinez doing here as they go through the Schumacher S section. Move over to the leader here, Alex Cruz in the Nilla Wafers BMW GT4. I believe this is also the F82 chassis. This is not the updated GT4. However, still showing that the F82 has a lot of life in it. A lot of life left inside of this specific machinery. We do have 27 cars on the track for tonight's race. It's going to be a very, very interesting one here for the final round of Odyssey Racing League Season 19. For GT Americas. Alex Cruz crossing the line. Leila Martinez also crossing the line. Not able to improve their times at all. So Alex Cruz in provisional pole for the GT4s. We do have Leila Martinez in P2 and the number 924, Aston Martin, and P3, Bonus Charles. For Backroad GT Racing, coming through the finish line, is he able to get a better time while sticking those left-hand tires in the dirt? It is not able to improve his time under the BMW M Power sign. The Ginetta goes, and it looks like it's going to be trying to get off the racing line as soon as possible so that it can leave space for the GT3s coming through the track. As we keep an eye on... Well, we're keeping an eye on the in the pit lane right here. Pretty famous pit lane, if I do say so myself. Lots of movies showcases pit lane, as well as a lot of people in real life race here still. But if we go over to the drivers on the track, we do have Wei Shen Wang for Infinity Racing MOL team. This is number 423 Mercedes AMG. As it looks to be that they are spacing themselves out to get ready for their first official qualifying time. In the lead of this pack is the number 885. And that is Phil Dixon in the lead, so he's going to be starting us off with the first qualifying time. Right behind him is the number 135. And that is Jay Paisa behind the wheel of that car. As we see them go through the Mercedes arena, under the Assetto Corsa banner, and into arguably some of the toughest sections of the track. As we see the AMG go through turns 5 and 6, now down the little mini stretch through turn 7. We are going to move over to Phil Dixon, though, who is in the lead, so we're going to keep an eye on him in the purple and blue chromed Porsche. The Dixon Motorsports livery is a very nice color, if I do say so myself. I'm a huge fan of purple. And chrome. So, I mean, I'm pretty simple, I think. Make it purple and make it chrome, and I like it. Ah! So for some reason, we moved over to Mr. Richard Harknett. Hello, welcome. I don't know why. I don't know why the camera did that, but wanted to welcome Richard. Also, in case you guys didn't know, it is Richard's birthday. So if you guys see Richard Harknett in the chat or in the Discord, let him know happy birthday. It's not his birthday, but just do it. It might annoy him, and that's funny sometimes. Phil Dixon moving off the racing line to allow the cars to pass. That does put Phil Dixon P2. We do have Mr. Jay Pice and the number 135 McLaren in provisional pole for a couple of seconds. Tasted that sweet provisional pole, but it got knocked down, unfortunately. Adam Norhalem moving up into provisional pole 1 in the 21 Autosports Ford Mustang, and as soon as I say that, gets automatically knocked down by LaVorce Perkins and the number 14 Lexus So we have a V8 on V8 on V8 battle. I do believe the number 423, driven by Wei Wang with the Mercedes-AMG GT3, is also a naturally aspirated V8 engine. So we do have V8s in the lead, with the number 14 Lexus, driven by LaVorce Perkins, 156.430 provisional pole for them. Adam Norhill in P2, 156.585, and then Wang, the number 423 AMG, 157.432. If I remember correctly, here at the Nürburgring GP circuit, times for amateur drivers with red plates, you really want to get into the 56s, 55s. That'll really show how strong you are as a rookie driver. Forza Abdul in the chat. I love Orel. Well, hey, guess what? Orel loves you, Abdul. Say well, Abdul. Say it. Type it. You won't. So it doesn't look like Alex... he is. So Alex Donaldson, your leader for the... Oh, where'd he go? There he is. For some reason, the tree isn't working, but Alex Donaldson in the number 24 Aston Martin, your leader for the championship standings for Season 19 GT America's Rookies. Now in provisional pole, 155.842 for him. LaVorce Perkins gets knocked down into P2. Red de Guzman able to improve their time in the number 6 Honda, so moving up into P3, taking that third podium step away from Wei Wang. Red de Guzman now P3, 156.205 for Red. Alex Donaldson electing to end his qualifying time, or his qualifying run right there. As we move over to Wang, if not Ryan Shanley, to keep an eye on him. He was... Ryan Shanley, P2 overall for the rookie standings. He's only 10 points away from Alex Donaldson, so if Ryan Shanley is able to pull off a win, or able to get ahead of Alex Donaldson in the standings for tonight and finish the race, I do believe Ryan Shanley could be the winner of the rookie championship standings. However, if Alex Donaldson wins the rookie race tonight, or if he just stays ahead of Ryan Shanley, I think by 2 spots. So he needs to have a spot in the middle between, or he needs to have a car in the middle between him and Ryan, and he will be the winner for tonight. And with that, the rookies have finished their qualifying time. Adam Norhill in the lead for the rookies. The number 574 Ford Mustang able to pull it off. P1, 155.760 for them. Alex Donaldson in P2 for the rookies provisionally in the number 24. Oh, excuse me. I think we had someone disconnect potentially. So LaVorce Perkins moves up into P2. And Red de Guzman in P3 for the rookies. However, the amateurs and the pros are now out on the track. So that does mean Chad McLean is getting his tires and his brakes warmed up inside of that pink Mustang we have here. This is the PTM Pink Demon Mustang, to be specific. Apologize, racing fans. We're trying to work through technical difficulties tonight as we try to bring you the final round. This is round 6 of Odyssey Racing League GT America's Season 19, to be specific. We've been doing this for 19 seasons. One season consists of 6 weeks, followed by 2 to 3 weeks break in between the final round of the previous season and the first round of the next season. So we've been doing this for quite a while, but we couldn't do this without you, the racing fans, and all of the drivers on track tonight. So thank you so much for participating, each and every single one of you. There are 26 drivers tonight. It is 26 thank yous to each and every single one of you for joining us for tonight. And you at home watching, whether you're watching live or you're watching this broadcast in the future, sometime in the future, or if you're some kind of time traveler, you're in the past and you're watching this, thank you so much for joining us. We couldn't do this without you. A very interesting season for the number 81 McLaren, driven by Phil the Iceman Cryotheos. Right now in the lead of the Pro Championship standings, 174 total points for the Odyssey Racing League esports driver. 1 win under his belt as well. But right under him in P2 is Mr. Andrew Rados in the number 82 Honda, who we all know is a speed demon in disguise, with only 164 total points, however, 2 wins under their belt. So all Mr. Rados has to do, I believe, is get ahead of Phil Cryotheos. And Andrew Rados will be taking the crown. However, if Cryo is able to pull off a win tonight, I believe Phil the Iceman Cryotheos, or the crown will be moving over to Mr. Cryotheos over here in the number 81. It does look like the number 81 is struggling to get a decent qualifying time here at the Nürburgring GP. And speak of the number 82, Mr. Andrew Rados moving all the way up into the championship, winning position, basically. The number 82 Honda in P1 with 153.435 as their fastest time on the track. That is incredibly quick if I do say so myself. In P2, we do have Robert Rochta in the number 331, who actually got knocked down to P3 as Mr. Kyle White. The number 251 Aston Martin, as well as your championship leader, and I do believe potentially your championship winner if Kyle White is able to take the win away from Agüero Martinez tonight. If Agüero Martinez wins, Agüero is he here tonight? He is in a BMW. I do not see him. Is he here? Agüero. No, I do not see Agüero Martinez, so it does potentially look like that Kyle White, with a win tonight, will cement and solidify his championship win here for Odyssey Racing League amateur drivers, so the silver plate drivers. If Agüero Martinez does connect before the race starts, I do believe he is allowed to race, and he'll have to start from the back. However, he's only 4 points behind, or 14 points behind the Kyle White here. So I do believe a win is 25 points, if I do say so. If I think it's either 25 or 15. So with the win, Agüero Martinez will take the championship away from Kyle White here. However, I don't believe that's going to happen, as I don't see Mr. Martinez on the grid for tonight. Robert Rochta in P3, going a little slow through the chicane, the final chicane there in the number 331 BMW through the final turn. I believe this is the Coca-Cola curve, or used to be called the Coca-Cola curve, I believe. But Robert Rochta in the number 331 flying through the start-finish straight to get that final lap in. 24 seconds left to go in qualifying, so we do have a little bit of time left. We got a little bit of a different shakeup here on our standings. with the qualifying time officially over. We do have some overtime left as some drivers are still out on the track and have valid qualifying times. So they are allowed to stay out on the track and finish their time so long as they are still valid. Once that time becomes invalid, they go off the track, they hit a wall, or commentators curse strikes, apparently like it does there for Robert Rochta. I do apologize so much to the number 331 BMW. Wyatt in the Baller Squad Racing Ferrari puts left-hand tires inside of the dirt, but is able to cross the finish line under that BMW M Power sign. Wyatt in the number 272 Ferrari, P6 overall. As the timer starts winding down, we do look to, yeah, we do have a solidified podium right now. It does look like Andrew Rados on the top step of the podium, the number 82 Honda for Odyssey Racing League Esports, 152.665 for them. In P2, Andres Espinosa in the number 27 Audi, sneaking in with a 154.447, and Kyle White in the number 251, rounding off your third step of the podium, 154.685 for them. And that is the end of our official qualifying time. We'll get right back to you with the starting grid walk of round 6 of season 19 Odyssey Racing League GT Americas. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone, and on behalf of Odyssey Racing League, thank you so much for joining us for the starting grid walk of round 6, the final round of GT America's Season 19, to be specific. My name is Christian Julian. I also go by Koju. And to start off with our starting grid walk, in the first position, all the way at the top of the step of the podium, in the number 82 Honda, Andrew Rados for Odyssey Racing League Esports. In P2, the number 27 Audi, all the way from Chile, Andres Espinosa for KF Racing Team. On the third step, Kyle White for Fat Aston Racing. This is the 251 Aston to be exact. P3. Lining up next to him in P4, Robert Rochta in the number 331 BMW. P5, Phil Cryotheos in the number 81 Odyssey Racing League McLaren. The Iceman starting from P5. He really needs a win tonight to take the championship crown. We're going to be keeping an eye on him. And hopefully no commentator's curse happens for tonight. In P6, we do have Jake Schafferbauer, the number 92 Mercedes AMG. P7 for Baller Squad Racing. This is Wyatt Viator. Vitor, excuse me. P8, Adam Norhalim, number 574 Ford Mustang. P9, Alex Donaldson for Backfire Racing. Rounding off your top 10 in the number 14 Lexus, this is Lavoris Perkins. P11, Mr. Richard Harknett himself in the number 66 Honda. P12, Chad McLean in the pink Ford Mustang. P13 goes to Red de Guzman in the number 6 Honda for Hack Dog Racing. P14, Tim Gargosabater, and this is the number 660 McLaren. Number P15 goes to Wei Shen Wang. This is number 423 Mercedes AMG. Ryan Bishop in the number 78 Porsche in P16. P17 goes to Robbie Sword of Asian and the number 169 BMW. P18, Michael Cortez for Noobs R Us. This is the 716 McLaren. P19 goes to Ryan Chanley for C7 Racing. This is the number 67 Aston GT3. In your 20th place, this is Jay Paisa for JP with Samantha Tan Racing. P21 is Phil Dixon in the number 885 Porsche. Starting now with your GT4s, your leader for the GT4s, Alex Cruz in the number 121 BMW GT4. Layla Martinez, your GT4 league leader in P2 overall for the GT4s. P23 total, overall total. Right behind Layla is Bonus Charles in the number 26 Janetta, P24 overall. Then we do have a couple of cars that were unable to qualify, either due to penalties or just not connecting in time. We have Michael Maletta starting from the back on the number 72 Porsche. Excuse me. For Baller Squad Racing. Daniel Fernandez in the 626 McLaren for Bacon Streeps Racing. And last but not least, Mr. Dean Solomon himself for Backroad GT Racing. This is the number 59 Porsche GT4, P27. So now we're just going to take a look as the cars line up side by side as the anticipation builds. We have to just wait a little while longer before the track goes green and we can see some awesome racing. It is 17 degrees Celsius ambient temperature here at the Nürburgring. I do see someone in the chat asking for the air temperature. I do apologize. 17 degrees Celsius ambient air temperature, 23 degrees Celsius track temp. So it is a nice cool day for the cars as we do see them line up side by side going under the BMW M Power sign. We're going to wait for the light to go green, and it goes green. The green flag drops, and the race is underway for GT America Season 19, Round 6. Andrew Rados with a very nice defensive move. Doesn't really have to actually do too much. Keeps an eye on the inside, though, to make sure that there is no dive from Phil Cryotheos. Phil Cryotheos in the McLaren, and the 81 McLaren in the middle, trying to defend from the inside from the 251. However, the 251 driven by Kyle White, I believe, trying to go along the outside as Andrew Rados is now in the commanding lead with Andres Espinosa right behind him. So that puts Phil Cryotheos in P3, able to make a move. Robert Brochta along the inside of the 251, also able to make a nice clean move, and that's Kyle White losing a couple positions. Maybe Jake Schreiferbauer is trying to eye along the inside now in the number 92, makes a move along the outside, then makes a move on the inside, trying to confuse Kyle White, but Kyle White is not being confused and not allowing that move to make any positional change for the drivers in front of him. Richard Harknett in P10 now, moving up a couple of spots. As you do see, I do see a yellow flag in the back. That's for the number 6. That's Red de Guzman. Unfortunately, oh, he's tumbling all the way back from the standings. So we do have all the drivers going to start moving up little by little. We do have Kyle White now in P5, losing a couple spots. Almost side by side in the back is Jake Schaefer-Bauer and Wyatt Viator for Baller Squad Racing as they go side by side. Oh, actually, they don't go side by side. As they go single file through the Schumacher S, it does look like all the cars are starting to settle in their positions as we don't see any crazy dives coming in. We might see something along the inside by Michael Maletta. Michael looked along the inside, however, not able to make it along the alongside in the braking zone with Michael Cortez there, so he's going to have to back off from that move. Moving down into the GT4s, a little bit of space is happening between the GT4s as some of the GT3s from behind are and some of the unfortunate slower GT3s are being passed by the GT4, so it's going to be causing a little bit of traffic as we do see Alex Cruz still in the lead for the GT4s and starting to get a little bit of cushion between themselves and Leila Martinez. That's about a 2-second gap between them now. Alongside Phil the Iceman Cryotheos along the inside of the number 27, potentially being squeezed by Andres Espinosa, coming into the first braking zone or the first turn known as the Yokohama S. Along the inside, Phil Cryotheos goes, makes Andres Espinosa around the outside, but now they're going to be switching positions as Andres now has the inside of the next turn. The 81 looked like tried to make a undercut move, but made it a little too early as they bang doors, and that does allow the number 27 the go-ahead move and into P2 now. Interesting move made by the number 81, maybe trying to squeeze there, and potentially the 27 trying to not get squeezed, gave a little elbow shove to push 81 out of the way. Interesting move there made by both drivers. The number 423 on the back end of Robbie Sort of Asian now. That's Wei Shen Wang trying to make a move coming out of the Mercedes arena. As we do see some dirt being kicked up there. And it does look like the 423 is going to have to slot right behind the number 169 as we do continue to see them. Oh, some contact happening. It does look like contact between Robert Rochta and Kyle White and potentially the Iceman himself, as I do see a contact flag for all three of those cars. But Robert Rochta and the number 331 just hemorrhaging spots. He went from P4 all the way down. I see him now on my tree. He's P20 now. So the contact potentially between both those cars coming into, I believe that's turn AS7. As I'm going to see if I can get a replay for all of you. But that does move Phil Cryotheos up into P3. Excuse me, that leaves him in P3, but now doesn't really have to contend with a car breathing down his neck. Unfortunately, all of that battling has given all of these cars enough, the cars in front of him, breathing room, as Andres Espinosa now has a 5-second gap in front of the number 81 on our screen. Excuse me, a 3.5 to 4 second gap, while Andres Espinosa needs to work excuse me. Let me start from the beginning. I'm getting ahead of myself here. And Andrew Rados, your leader in the number 82 Honda, has a 5-second gap between himself and P2. That's number 27, Andres Espinosa. And then a 3-second gap between Andres Espinosa and Phil Cryotheos. However, Mr. Andrew Rados with a 10-second success penalty, so that may affect him during the official pit stop that we do have here at Odyssey Racing League. It is the final round, so 60 minutes of non-stop racing action. So that does mean we do have a 30-minute pit window that will be opening up within the next 1/3 of the race. And we do also have live stewards, as you did see at the bottom right hand of your corner, potentially. Live stewards are handing out penalties. And that is a drive-through for the number 135. Let me see if I can get you a clip of any incidents that happened going back. Let's see if we can get an eye on this incident. Going through the Mercedes arena under the Assetto Corsa sign. Into turn 5 they go. A little bit of tap from behind. So some bumper tapping and loving happening there from behind. Does anything happen later on? Let's see. We do have Kyle White. We do see it there in the background, potentially trying to make a move along the inside. The BMW takes the defensive move along the inside, rides the curb, and pushes potentially. Oh, so a potential self-kill there from the car as they tried to take the defensive move along the inside. Phil Cryotheos not cutting the corner, but but squeezing the car in the corner as much as he could. It did look like the car was off track potentially, as I did see the right-hand tires inside of the dirt and the dirt being kicked up there. So I'm going to let the stewards look at that, as we do see Chad McLean hard into the braking zone of the Yokohama S alongside Wyatt in the number 272 Ferrari. Can the Ford Mustang, with all that V8 power, get anything done within this short section, this short first sector of the Nürburgring GP, compared to the Ferrari, which I would arguably say is a lot stronger here on this part of the track? Hasmid LV in the chat. Third season with ORL. Can say it's an amazing league. Racing GT Europe and having fun on Sundays. So glad and so happy that you're having fun on Sundays. There may or may not be a special guest in the broadcast booth this Sunday. It might be me. I'm gonna spoil it for you. It might be me. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. As we see a smorgasbord of GT3 cars on our screen here, still battling for position. It does look like Richard Harknett had a little bit of a squirrely exit, but might be trying to get that drag race along with that Aston Martin next to him. That's Kyle White. That's the number 251. Kyle White electing to allow Richard Harknett the inside of the line, which leaves Richard in that 8th position. We're going to be moving it to him, actually, because he's going to be battling against the championship leader here, the number 66 Honda, not giving any inch to the number 251. And by speaking of inch, gets his lunch ate from behind. The number 66 thrown into the dirt there of the final chicane. Oh, that's going to be some damage there for the number 66, as the number 251 is most potentially going to be given a penalty there for smoking the number 66 from behind. Very unfortunate to the number 66. Somebody's cheering for Rob Rochta in the chat, so let's see if we can get Rob on our screen. Still keeping an eye on the championship standings and the race standings. We do have Andrew Rado still in the lead. Andres Espinosa, P2. Phil Cryotheos, P3. However, I do see Phil Cryotheos gaining time and track position on Andres Espinosa, so that battle might be coming sooner than later. Tim Gargle some water, unfortunately having to go off track there and being a little bit slower than expected, so he's going to be losing some spots as well as he goes side by side with Robbie Sword of Asian through turns 5 and now turn 6, as they now go through the next couple of turns here. I'm on the wrong part of the track, huh? This is actually turn 12 as they now come into the into the final chicane, the hard braking zone. It looks like multiple cars going off track to potentially avoid incidents there, as Tim Gargleson Water, number 660, rejoins the race. Pretty safely, I might add. No contact happening there for a unsafe rejoin. Gonna have to lose some spots there, but that might be a sacrifice you might have to make. Tim Gargleson Water having to look along the inside, as we do see the number 78 Porsche potentially making a move. Ryan Bishop along the braking zone along the inside, however, gives up the position to the 660 and allows him to get through, as the number 78 felt like that they were not alongside in the braking zone coming into the turn in point. Through the Mercedes arena, the number 423 Mercedes AMG goes on the back bumper of Daniel Fernandez, who we do see in the red, white, and blue McLaren in front. Speaking of Robert Rochta, the number 331 P15 for them. They are in a battle right now, it looks like, with Ryan Bishop, and also having to defend against Phil Dixon, who's about a second and a half away. So we're going to be moving over to that battle in a second. However, we're going to be keeping an eye on some of these other closer battles, as we can see Kyle White on the back bumper of Michael Cortez coming out of turns 7 and now coming up into the Schumacher S's turns 8 and 9. Every time I think we come into the Schumacher S, the commentator curse starts striking, as we do see the back end of the number 251 get a little squirrely there. Pasmid in the chat. Have a great rest of your night, Pasmid. Thank you for joining us. Hope to see you Sunday. And something we also hope to see here on our screen is a clean pass by Chad McLean in the number 45 Mustang. However, not able to make it stick through the final chicane there, as it gets a little bumpy there in that section. Wyatt in the number 272 Ferrari for Baller Squad Racing in the front, as Chad McLean is going to have to look behind him for a potential move made by the Lexus. The move not happening. Move abort. Abort, abort, abort. Racing fans, I'm being told that the stream is a little choppy due to dropping frames. I do apologize for any technical difficulties that do arise during the race. If for whatever reason there is a disconnection from the stream, the stream disconnected, my internet goes down, anything like that, the broadcast will not continue. The live broadcast will not continue. However, I will be doing a recorded broadcast and finishing the race that way, if any technical difficulties do arise. It does look like there is no disconnections. It just looks like that there's intermittent packet loss. So do apologize for that issue there. The Iceman inching ever closer to the Audi in front of him. The number 27 is going to have to start looking in their rearview mirror to see when that move is going to be made, because it's not if the move will be made, it's when the move will be made. As Cryotheos looks along the inside, potentially, nope, makes a fakey move, gets behind in the braking zone, maybe brakes a little too deep, as potential contact is made there with the front bumper of the Iceman and the back bumper of Andres Espinosa there, but it looks like Cryotheos is able to keep it on track between the white lines, and still within less than half of a second, or within a second of the number 27. So this battle is going to be ever evolving as we keep an eye on it. But we are going to be going over to Kyle White, who's making a lunging dive along the inside of Michael Cortez. The number 716 has to go around the outside and is going to have to give up that position to the number 251. So Kyle White moving up into P11. Couple of spots behind, though. Tim Gargleson is watching that battle behind him and also trying to make something of the battle, or something of a battle of his own here in front of him with the number 331. That's driven by Robert Brochta. Oh, an interesting development. It looks like the number 27 goes off the track, potentially braking way too late or way too deep. Was there an contact be made? We do have a replay, so we're going to be going back to see if there's any contact that happened there. But it does look like the number 81 is able to get past potentially a fakey juke move by the number 81. And with mental games, able to push the number 27 off track. Let's see if we can get a replay on that and see if there was any contact. Squirrely exit by the number 81 there. However, coming into the braking zone, it looks like, yeah, the number 27 just wasn't able to slow down enough, and wasn't able to slow down in time and tried to take that turn. That's turn 10 specifically. Tried to take turn 10 a little too quickly. losing the back end, tries to regain control, able to regain control, but unfortunately takes all 4 tires outside of the white lines and allows Phil Cryotheos the go-ahead pass. So that does move the number 81 into P2. And potentially the end of this battle for this half of the race. The pit window is now officially open. That does mean the cars are now allowed to go in and finish their official qualifying, or their official mandatory pit stop. Fuel is required. Tires are not required. Here at the Nürburgring GP, would it be good to take tires? Potentially, depending if you are undercutting or if you're making an undercut. There is potential to take tires, however, I don't know. I don't think I would take tires, personally. What about you, racing fans? If you in the chat, if you race here at Nürburgring, would you take tires? As we do see Robert Roach to go off there at turn 6. Does look like there was contact, so I do see a contact flag happening between them. So potential contact happening between the 331 and the number 251, as more contact potentially happening, as we do see them throwing elbows, potentially hitting, rubbing doors as well as they go through the Schumacher S's. We do see some battles happening as well in the back. Robert Roach having to bail out of that racing line and go off the track, allowing Tim Gargle some water to move up a spot as well. So Tim Gargle some water in the number 660 McLaren right there, that blue and yellow McLaren, moving up into P12. On our screen right now is a battle between Kyle White and Robbie Sort of Asian for the top 10 spot. Robbie Sort of Asian P10 in the black and orange BMW, Kyle White in the green and white Aston Martin, as they almost potentially go side by side through the final chicane, but Kyle White aborting that pass to allow a safe single file line through there. As we move over to Michael Cortez, who looks to have finished his pit stop, so now he's going to have to make his way through traffic. Speaking of traffic, some people call GT4s traffic. I call them racecraft heaven. And speaking of heaven, Leila Martinez potentially on cloud 9 with a 5-second lead in front of Bonus Charles, and Alex Cruz a 1.5 seconds behind Bonus. So Leila Martinez in the lead, in the number 924. Number 924, Aston Martin GT4 in the lead right now. 15-second time penalty. Their success penalty, 15 seconds, right? So that could potentially allow Bonus to be like 10 seconds, if not those whole 15 seconds ahead coming out of the pit stop. So that is going to be something that we're going to be keeping an eye on as well, because Leila Martinez could run away with the championship and potentially a hat trick. This being their 3rd win if they're able to take the checkered flag for the GT4s tonight. A squirrely exit. Oh, that's not the right camera. That's not the right camera. That's not the right camera. Where are we going? Who are we? Where are we going? So Chad McLean able to get past Wyatt, who had an unfortunate exit coming out of the chicane. Out of the final chicane, puts all 4 tires in the grass. It looks like Wyatt is in the pit lane there. Actually, yeah, joins Wyatt in the number 272, joins the pit lane party. It looks like maybe they were trying to, potentially they were trying to get out of the way, allowing the other drivers pass so that they can, maybe this was like a flub there at the exit, like at the entrance of the pit lane. Because it potentially looked like they were trying, I mean, potentially, right? This is just what I'm guessing, but it maybe looked like they were going to allow the other cars pass. But let's see if we can get a replay of this. I do not have a replay of this incident. Okay. So, interestingly enough, super interesting, right? That's not the right camera. Okay, camera person? I'm gonna have to go talk to the camera people. They're not helping me tonight. But it did also look like the number 45 went off track, if I remember correctly. That was an interesting sequence of events that we did not have very good visual contact on, or visual eyes on. But hopefully it'll be a lot better for the next half of the race. Some penalties being handed out. 5 seconds for the number 660. That is Tim Gargle some water. So the number 660 on our screen is given a 5-second time penalty. Nice gaggle of cars coming through the start-finish straight under the BMW M Power sign, through the finish line and into the first turn. A potential movement under braking. However, I'm going to let the stewards decide that, as no incidents occur. But it does look like Richard Hartnett trying to get a good position alongside the number 423 to make it. It does make it stick. The number 423 sees the number 66 make the dive and allows the dive to happen. So Richard Hartnett moving up into P15. With a great move in turn 3, turn 3 of the Mercedes Arena by the number 66 to get past the number 423. Tim gargles some water, throwing up kitty litter, slowing him down a little bit. So that's going to be allowing Richard Hartnett another go-ahead position, moving up into P13 now. Some interesting developments happening up ahead as well. Some of these cars are slowing down a bit. Robert Brochta now in P10, trying to get past Robbie with the fight with Robbie Sortovasian, trying to crack through it, the top 10 into now P9, the number 169 BMW. That's the black and orange one in front, with the defensive line trying to stay ahead of the number 331 on our screens. With a couple of battles happening a couple of spots further back, side by side now. The number 331 able to get a better run alongside. Now through into the chicane. The 331 stays ahead, and that's Robert Brochta now into P9. Robbie Sortovasian, I don't think is going to allow that pass to happen easily, as he tries to stick onto the back bumper of the fellow BMW driver. The number 423 diving into the pits to get that official pit stop completed. 20 minutes, 40 seconds left inside of the pit window. Everyone within the top 18 have not completed their pit stops. Oh, excuse me, the number 423, who is inside of the pit lane right now getting that pit stop done. So the undercuts are coming out from the number 716, the number 272, and the number 423. Will those undercuts work? I'm very interested to see. 35 minutes, 16 seconds left to go in the race. I think we'll find out if those undercuts, how valuable those undercuts are when that timer goes to 0. Oh, big contact happening here. Turn 7. Multiple cars involved. That's the number 66, the number 78, the number 626, and potentially the number 660. No idea what happened here. Potential diving move made by either the 66 or the number 78, as both of them got the front end of the stick, if I do say so myself. Along the inside, the number 251 goes, trying to make the move, makes it stick, and cleanly, I might add, as they get ahead of the Richard Hartnett, moving up into P14 as Richard Hartnett moves down into P15. Both cars losing spots after the incident that happened there at turn 7. Let's see if we can get a... I will definitely need a replay of this. Okay, we get a replay coming into the zone. It looks like a potential tap. Side by side, Richard Hartnett goes into the braking zone, potentially goes to the... Oh! Contact happening from... Oh, potentially, I'm gonna let the stewards decide that. Yeah. A potential vortex of doom situation happening from one, by the vision of one car, or maybe one car just abruptly cutting off the nose of another. Who knows? We have different views from the stewards, and I'm gonna 100% let the stewards decide that, as they have way better, camera angles than we do. But that was an interesting move made by all three cars there. Potential damage for the number 66. Not able to get the slip angle that they needed coming into the Schumacher SS, so that's going to be pushing them a little bit farther behind, as they had to take a small detour to the grass and the dirt. Lunging move made by the number 251 along the inside of Ryan Bishop. Kyle White able to make that move stick, as we now see the Porsche having a little bit of difficulties. Potential damage as well for the Porsche out of all that contact that was happening, which allows Richard Hartnett the go-ahead position. So Richard Hartnett moving up a spot, Kyle White moving up 2 there, with some determined racecraft moves, able to make those moves stick. And I don't see any traffic happening behind him, so it does look like both the number 66 and the number 78 have entered the pit lane party, as we do see the cars lining up starting to get into the pit lane. Yeah, a little bit of damage on the back end and the front end bumper there for the number 66. So potentially that was the cause of the grip loss there coming into the Schumacher S's. So as the standings will start changing ever so slightly as drivers start entering and leaving the pit lane. Oh, we have a skirt moment from Phil Dixon. Able to keep it clean and between the white lines though. So great recovery by the number 885. A development happening on our screen. Bonus Charles and the number 26 giving the number 120 a run through the BMW M Power sign through the start-finish straight and into the first turn. This is the battle for P2 of the GT4s. Alex Cruz and the number 121 nil away for BMW. You see him on the left-hand side, and Bonus Charles here on our screen, battling through the Mercedes arena, turns 2, turns 3, and turns 4, as they have to continue this fight through the GT3 traffic and through the potential time penalties of Leila Martinez and Alex Cruz. Bonus Charles might be in a very comfortable spot here if he's able to stay right behind Alex Cruz, and if not in front of the number 121, as we do see some GT3 traffic passing through now. Going to be throwing a small little monkey wrench within this battle. However, the GT3 should be able to pass them cleanly, relatively quickly. As we keep an eye on this battle for the podium status of the GT4s. We're also going to move over to just a quick little development. So our race leader, Andrew Rados, is now in the pit lane, has decided to join the pit lane party, as well as P2, Phil the Iceman Cryotheos, entering the pit lane as well. Andres Espinosa in P3, the number 27 Audi, going through the final chicane. We're going to see if he decides to stay out or join the pit lane party. Does look like he's staying out, so we might have a potential change for the lead as we keep an eye on the track map to see if the number 81 is leaving the pit lane. Before the 27 gets there, it is not. So we do now have a new race leader in the number 27 Audi, driven by Andres Espinosa. However, Andres has not completed their mandatory pit stop, so that status may change very, very soon. Adam Norhilim in the number 574 Ford Mustang moving up into P2, as well as Robert Brochta in the number 331 BMW, now on the third step of the podium. We do have new podium standings with 28 minutes left to go in the final round of Odyssey Racing League, GT America's Season 19. Your race leader, Andres Espinosa, is now in the pit lane, as well as the number 331 BMW, driven by Robert Abrochta. So that is going to be the championship, the top step of the podium changing a bit. Adam Norhilim is now in P1. The number 574 Ford Mustang also still needs to complete their pit stop. 9 minutes, 15 seconds left in that pit window. So as long as they are within the pit lane lines, they will be allowed to complete their mandatory pit stop. Andrew Rados now in P2, the number 82 Honda for Odyssey Racing League Esports. And P3, Phil the Iceman Cryotheos, the number 81 McLaren for Odyssey Racing League Esports. Hello, racing fans. We are trying to work through some technical difficulties. However, 6 minutes, about 7 seconds left in the official pit window time, and it doesn't seem to be only one GT4 car. Yeah, just only one car left that needs to finish their official pit stop. I say qualifying, right? I don't know why, but it should be pit stop. Their mandatory pit stop here. It is the number 924 GT4, Leila Martinez. That is the leader of the GT4s. Also with a pretty commanding lead as well. They have a 75-second gap. So 1 minute 20 second. Excuse me, I can't do math. That's 1 minute and 10 seconds. I still can't math. That's 1 minute and 14. 1 minute and 14 seconds ahead of P2. That's Bonus Charles and the number 26 GT4. So it's going to be interesting to see where Layla will come out position-wise when they finish their pit stop. As I do see the number 59 is in the pit lane, so Dean Solomon getting his mandatory pit stop complete. As we have a battle on our screen here between the number 574, the number 272, and the number 169, as they are all within a second, 2 seconds of within each other. That is Adam Norhalim in P7, It's the number 574 Ford Mustang on our screen. LaVorce Perkins is driving the Lexus in front, and Robbie Sword Evasion is on the tail end of this fight here. Excuse me, that's Wyatt. Wyatt in the number 272 Ferrari. Then about a second and a half, 2 seconds behind them, you can see him that there in the background. That's Robbie Sword Evasion in the BMW, and then the Baller Squad Racing teammate Michael Maletta in the number 72 Baller Squad Porsche, to be exact, right there behind him. A squirrely exit for the Lexus. Can the Ford Mustang capitalize on the mistake of the number 14? Door to door as they squeeze through the last turn, side by side. Now it's a drag race between the V8s. Who wants it more, the Ford Mustang or the Lexus? Coming into the first turn, they go almost side by side. However, it looks like the number 574 is able to get better grip along the inside, and able to get ahead. So does Adam Norhalim, staying in P6, or moving up into P6. LaVorce Perkins and the number 14 Lexus. P7, however, using their Go-Go Gadget extendo arm, not going to allow that Ford Mustang to get away for very long. As we do see Wyatt Viator in the Ferrari right there, and that's the Baller Squad Racing Ferrari. Is also smelling the blood in the water there, so not gonna allow any mistake from these two drivers in front, or the opportunity to capitalize on the mistake of the two drivers in front to go let him pass. As we do see some GT4 traffic happening now in front as the GT4 goes wide as they can through the turn, even through the tire marbles, to allow these three cars to get past as they continue fighting for position here. Potential contact happening as we have a car having to bail out. This is... oh my goodness. A potential message from the team leader asking for a position switch as the Baller Squad Racing teammates switch positions. So that moves Michael Maletta up into P7, excuse me, while Wyatt in the number 272 Ferrari moves into P8. So number 72, P7, number 272, P8. And with that notification there on our screen, the official pit window is now closed, which means if you have not finished your official pit stop, then that means you are going to be given a hefty 120-second time penalty at the time of the race. Leila Martinez leaving the pit lane now, only 4 seconds in front of the number 26 Ginetta. So bonus Charles right within basically visual distance of the number 924. So if anything happens to the number 924, The number 26 can easily sneak in and take the win here for the final round. The fight between the number 574 Ford Mustang and the number 72 Porsche for Baller Squad Racing is starting to heat up, as we do see the number 574 potentially trying to make a lunge that wasn't there. Contact being made, being thrown off the track. The number 72 able to make a good recovery, however, and stay in front, as their Baller Squad Racing teammate is now catching up behind them in the number 272 Ferrari. We can see it right behind there. Right there it is. Both Baller Squad Racing cars now within the top 10. Side by side they go. Number 574 able to stick out ahead. Number 331, though, not backing down. Robert Borchta trying to make a move along the inside. Sees it there. Is the door open? It kind of is. Along the inside, the 331 goes. However, the 574 Ford Mustang in front is just able to use all that V8 power and stay ahead, especially going through that turn. Is just able to carry so much speed. But coming through the Schumacher S's now, the BMW is a little bit more stable, as we now go into the hard braking zone of turn 10. Now we're going to hit turn 11, Warsteiner. The Warsteiner curve, excuse me. Now, through the two mini straights in the back, this is turn 12. And now, going through on into the chicane. Oh, that is an interesting development. The 574, maybe the brake's a little too hot, having to go deep into the braking zone, goes off track. And with the go-ahead position, it's now the number 331 moving up into P8. Adam Norhelim, the driver of that 574, moving down into P9. Another move happening on our screen. It looks like the 272 just allowed that move to happen, or just broke a little too early, but the Robert Roorda, seeing the opportunity unfold in front of him, just takes the plunge into the corner and makes it stick. The number 331 now moving up into P7. 2 spots now. That's incredible driving. Eight minutes, 50 seconds left in round 6, the final round of Odyssey Racing League's GT Americas, excuse me, for season 19. I always have to remind myself it's season 19 because Odyssey Racing League has been doing this for 19 whole seasons. And we'll be back for our 20th season in 3 weeks. So we do have 3 weeks from today, and that will be the start of Odyssey Racing League GT America's Season 20. I hope to see you there. Same time, same place, right here on the YouTube. So please, don't be afraid to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know that when we go live, and you'll be able to catch all of this racing action in all of its glory here at Odyssey Racing League. As well, we do have a Discord. If you are not part of our Discord, I'm going to be dropping a link for you here. You can join us on our Discord to learn all of our upcoming events, keep up to date with all of the information, or just get into contact with us. Any of one of the admins or league admins, you can find us there. Shoot us a message. Now with 7 minutes left to go in the final round, just keeping an eye on your leader. That is still the number 82 Honda, driven by Andrew Rados for Odyssey Racing League Esports. P1 for Andrew Rados. Also holding on to the Purple Crown, which means they have the fastest time on track. 153.230 is the fastest time, so they are going to be holding on to the Purple Crown for now, until potentially someone else comes in and beats them. In P2, the number 81 McLaren, driven by Phil Cryotheos for Odyssey Racing League Esports. Phil Cryotheos in the Championship League with 174 total points. Andrew Rados, your race leader, with 164 total points. I do believe, however, that this will be bar none, if Cryo does not get anything worse than P2, I do believe that this will be the championship win for the Iceman himself. If my math is correct, please, if there are any league admins watching or listening, please let me know if my math is incorrect. But I do believe if my math is correct, that would put the number 81 in the championship position and the race win. P3 goes to Andres Espinosa, the number 27 Audi. Andres Espinosa does have one win under their belt. That was round 4. Able to come out with a win. Very fast times for Andres, but unfortunately not able to convert those fast times into results. 102 total championship points for the number 27, but the potential win tonight to add under their belt for the amateur drivers. Along the inside, the number 72 goes. Does he make it stick? He does. The number 331 has to wait and let the 72 pass. Tries to potentially make the undercut happen at the exit of turn 1. However, not able to make anything happen there. The number 72, Michael Moletta, moves up into P6. And that pushes Robert Rochta in the green and blue BMW down into P7. While this battle is still brewing on our screen, we're also going to be keeping an eye on certain cars along the track as the timer winds down. We're going to be keeping a spotlight also on the number 24 Aston Martin. This is Alex Donaldson behind the wheel for Backfire Racing in P5 overall. However, they are winning and leading the rookie class. This is the red-plated cars, as well as leading the championship. So with a win tonight, Alex Donaldson will also cement their place as the championship leader, the championship winner for Odyssey Racing League Season 19 Rookies. The safety cushion that Leila Martinez had between them and Bonus Charles is now almost over. 1 minute and 26 seconds left in the race, and Bonus Charles is breathing down the neck of Leila Martinez as they're coming through the first couple of turns. This is actually turn 6, so we're now going through the mini straight down into turn 7 as we have this battle that's going to be happening until the very bitter end for the win here for the final round of Odyssey Racing League GT America Season 19. This is specifically the GT4 division we're going to be keeping an eye on as well, as this could potentially ruin Leila Martinez's hat trick. 2 wins in a row these past 2 rounds for Leila Martinez. A potential 3rd win here tonight can be taken away by Bonus Charles if the number 26 is able to get past the number 924 on our screen. However, it does look like Leila Martinez is defending with their life as much as possible as that timer is starting to wind down to flat zeros. 32 seconds left on the timer as we're going to be looking at where the race leader is. They are not even close to the finish line, so that does look like it's going to be the white flag as soon as the race leader passes the finish line. As we keep an eye here on the GT4s, I don't think they're gonna be... They might pass when it hits 0. We're gonna keep an eye on them, as this could potentially be the race ending... No, they get past the finish line, so they have 1 more lap to go as the timer does hit zeros, as we do see the number 82 on the backstretch coming into the final chicane. And the final turn, turn 15, Andrew Rados in the number 82 Honda for Odyssey Racing League Esports is your winner for the final round, round 6 of Odyssey Racing League GT Americas. So congratulations to the number 82. And we're going to be keeping an eye on the number 81 as well, as they are going to be crossing the finish line momentarily, as we do see them cross the final chicane and coming into the final corner. The number 81, driven by Phil, the Iceman Cryotheos, crossing the finish line in P2. However, I believe the number 81 is your championship winner for the Pro class. I believe, yes, that is the win for the number 81. So you second place for the race. However, your championship winner, Phil the Iceman Cryotheos. Andres Espinosa in the number 27 Audi going through the last line as well, or the last corner as well. Your winner for the amateur drivers, this is the silver plates, is the number 27, Andres Espinosa. Your winner for the amateur drivers, P3 overall. Alex Donaldson in the number 24 Aston Martin, P5 overall. However, your winner for round 6 Odyssey Racing League GT America's rookie division, as well as your rookie championship winner, the number 24 Aston Martin. Congratulations to Alex Donaldson. But really quickly, this final battle is still happening on our screen. We're able to see all of it, but Leila Martinez in the number 924 able to stick it out in the lead, crosses the finish line, takes the checkered flag with the hat trick. The number 924 driven by Leila Martinez with the win here for the final round of Odyssey Racing League GT America's Season 19 GT4 division. Your winner, Leila Martinez in the 924 Aston Martin, as well as your hat trick and a turkey. Woo! Turkey! I don't know if the camera picked it up, but I was gobbling. Congratulations to the 924. What a stellar championship for them. That is the championship win as well. Oh my goodness. What a heck of an ending. But that is unfortunately the ending. Racing fans, thank you so much for joining me for the final round of Odyssey Racing League GT America's Season 19 to be specific. Your overall race winner, Andrew Rados. However, your Pro League Championship winner, I believe, goes to Phil the Iceman Cryotheos in the Pro Division. In the Rookie Division, your winner, Alex Donaldson, also the championship winner, I believe. So congratulations to Alex Donaldson. And for the GT4s, Leila Martinez with the turkey or the hat trick, depending on where you are in the world. 3 wins in a row. Congratulations to Leila Martinez. And also the championship win. Congratulations. For the amateurs, it was Andres Espinosa, your winner for the AMs. I do believe Kyle White is your league winner, though. So the total complete championship. So congratulations to Kyle White. The final standings will be posted up to the Discord and on our SimGrid for all of the drivers to see where they placed. Thank you so much to each and every single one of you who has driven for Season 19. Thank you to each and every one of you who have watched one of our races for Season 19. And I hope to see you here for Season 20. My name is Christian Julian. I go by Koju here as well. Thank you so much for joining me for the final round of Odyssey Racing League GT America Season 19. Season 20 starts in 2 weeks. I hope to see you there. Take care.